What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing today? Welcome to another exciting episode of Nostalgic Videos. This is where I go back and I look at movies that made my childhood and actually destroyed them without my proper knowledge. Video game controller in one hand, a copy of The Last of Us 2 in the other. What can make a man happy, right? Alright, like the fact that I could go outside and actually do things and not worried about if I'm going to catch this coronavirus or not, because we all know that the flu has done way worse than this coronavirus. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my review of Not Spy Kids 3D. I know that you guys are waiting for me to do that movie, but the longer I can hold off on that review and not have to go through a movie that actually made me somewhat mentally ill, and I mean actually it made me somewhat sick, I can give you all better content than that. I will give you all that review someday. But I decided, you know what, let's talk about a movie that I haven't wanted to talk about for some time. Of course, I always do that in nostalgic videos because it's nostalgic videos. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to talk about the 1997 movie starring a James Bond, Pierce Brosnan, and Sarah Connor herself, Linda Hamilton. That's right, I am here to talk about the volcano movie, Dante's Peak. Now, I have actually never seen the volcano movie entitled Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones because I have no way to get my hands on it. It's not on Netflix, and I'm not going to go stream on something where I could get a virus on my newest computer. So until I can find some way to watch it, it's not gonna happen for a while. Okay, so Dante's Peak, in all honesty, is actually one of the three main movies that terrified me as a kid. Now, you're probably thinking, a volcano movie terrifying Nick. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you the three movies that terrified me. This, Titanic, and Jurassic Park. Now, the reason why I was terrified of those movies is I was like a 5-year-old kid with an imagination so powerful I could probably give the real Stanley Hotel power to bring it to life and want to actually take my imagination. Yes, my imagination, I had such a wild imagination. Not only could you not leave me out in the backyard by myself without me almost having a freaking heart attack, Jurassic Park literally scared me so bad I got sick and I actually had to miss school. That is how bad of an active imagination that I have. And the only reason that this movie scared me was because of the way how my friend Josh Matney described it. And when we seen a bone in Pierce Brosnan pop out, that scared me too. And I hadn't watched this movie in a long time. And I actually used to be really obsessed with this movie. Like, I was looking up facts about volcanoes. I wanted to be a volcanologist at one point. And no, not like Mr. Spock, you know, the one who goes, not like him. No. I actually at one point wanted to be a freaking geologist. Heck, I even wanted to be a storm chaser because I love disaster movies. And if you know me pretty well, you actually would probably say, well, Nick, you like all disaster movies. I can make jokes about myself. So, enough talking, let's get down to Dante's Peak. If you don't want to know what this movie is about, or at least like the main story, you know, you're going to go ahead and want to leave now. But basically the whole entire thing of Dante's Peak is it is basically, you know, the kind of Jaws movie, but with a volcano, just not as good. And what I'm talking about is you have this guy named Harry Mason, who, that's probably a different character, Harry Dalton, not Harry Mason. Harry Dalton is a volcanologist who is the best in his team's department. He is the best that his boss Paul has. So, you know, he sends him to go look at a volcano and tile Dante's Peak to see if something's going wrong. And even though nothing is going wrong, that usually would give people the signs, hey, you know, we need to evacuate this town. He still is like, okay, look, I know that nothing's really happening right now, but things are actually bothering me to the point I think it would be in the best interest to evacuate the town just in case something happens. And nobody listens. It's the entire thing with, you know, in Jurassic Park and with Chief Brody, you know, being like, there is a shark, but no one wants to close the town down because of tourism and because of money. We have this entire dynamic. The chemistry between Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton is good. It doesn't feel forced. This is actually, as far as I know, the very first movie that Joseph Gordon-Levitt has appeared in. Or at least the very first one I ever seen of him as a kid. Because I didn't even know who Joseph Gordon-Levitt was back then. Heck, the first movie that I ever seen him actually in I recognized him in was either G.I. Joe or The Dark Knight Rises. But he plays one of Linda Hamilton's kids. There's another one. The kids don't really do much other than the fact that when crap hits the fan, they basically go up to the mountain to get their grandmother because, you know, she's one of those characters who's like, she's kind of like the John Hammond, except if she was modeled after the book version of John Hammond, just not as much of a douche. You know, she's like, oh, nothing's going to happen with this mountain. Nothing bad's going to happen. And then even when things are going down, she's still like, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's wrong. We're going to be fine. This mountain isn't going to hurt us. And when she ends up making her sacrifice to make the kids safe, you know, she finally learns. You know, it's a good family movie with some volcano stuff in there. I will tell you, the soundtrack in this movie is really good. It's a beautiful soundtrack. It matches the tone of the film. They somewhat do treat the volcano like it's a character in itself because of where they do like these certain shots and nothing really happens when they are there near the volcano, but it's when they're either, well, let me take that back. The volcano doesn't really do anything until they kind of start messing with it, and they don't escalate it, but it's kind of like they made the volcano have like this kind of supernatural type thing. And, you know, Harry, he's like Bill in Twister, you know, he's got like that kind of sense about these things, you know. Almost every disaster movie has that type of character, and it's played off really well. Pierce Brosnan does a really good job. You know, this guy's James Bond. He's probably not a lot of people's favorite James Bond, but he was the only James Bond that I ever seen. In all honesty, I'm not that big of a James Bond fan, to be honest with you. But, you know, he does a really good job. Like I said, the chemistry between him and Linda Hamilton is good. The chemistry with him and the kids is very sweet. And where they shot this film, it is gorgeous. You know, like you get like the mountains, you know, you see the volcano, and they kind of treat the volcano like it's this over-the-top villain just looking down like, I'm gonna blow eventually, and I'm gonna kill all of you. Your time's coming. Oh, you just got that award for being the number 2 smallest town in America? Just you wait till I'm done with you. You ain't even gonna be around to see what happens. But overall, the effects of, you know, when the volcano eventually does start going off, and, you know, the danger feels real. Some things, you know, this is kind of like, you know, they don't really make science somewhat believable. So, like, you know, you cannot drive over a lava pool and tires don't just melt and, you know, and you don't just die. Or jumping into a lake of acid and your legs don't immediately start just going. You know, it's like a distant cousin to science. But I enjoyed this movie. I have always enjoyed this movie. It's always fascinated me. In all honesty, the movies that have fascinated me the most, Dante's Peak is one of them. The other one is a Zodiac movie about where they, you know, about the Zodiac killer. Actually, I think I might watch that today. I haven't watched that in a while. I love that movie. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have seen Dante's Peak, what do you think? I really want to know. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out my Patreon, my Instagram, my Facebook. I hope that you all are staying safe. Even though we've been inside for so long, I am so ready for everything to open back up. I miss my life, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time on another exciting episode of Phenomenal Views and Nostalgic Videos.